Real quick, test, test. Can you hear me? Please let me know if you can hear me, Chris. I'm doing a test of the microphone. Let me know if you can hear me. Okay, Chris said she can hear me. So if you can't, please make a note in the comments. Well, you won't know. So Chris will let me know if she can't hear me. Okay, I think we're good. And from all purposes, you can see. And Chris, can you hear me? Um, my name is Stacy McGough. Just a second, I'm checking with Chris too. There's a delay on this. So, all right, we're ready. So, all right, my name is Stacy McGough. I'm a fourth grade teacher at Bullock Elementary, and we have with us Chris Etheridge. She's our moderator. So, if you have any questions, you can type them in there. And if she doesn't know the answer, she'll let me know, and I will share it with you, or I will answer it for you. We're going to talk today about Pear Deck Flashcard Factory. It's one of my favorite parts about Pear Deck. They just rolled it out last year, about a year and a half now that they've had it, and it's a lot of fun. And my kids love it. They because it does multiple things. Pear Deck, if you're not familiar with Pear Deck, I know there's tons of videos online. If you're part of Garland, you can go to the I3 webinars. I know there are several videos on Pear Deck that you could watch. Or Who Knew It? You could watch them in there for GISD people. Pear Deck is like Nearpod. It's a little bit different. Don't tell Nearpod, but I kind of like Pear Deck a little better than I do Nearpod. It just has different things. It is unfortunately a paid program, just like Nearpod is. So you have to pay for the subscription. But there's a lot of things you can do for free that work just as well. Flashcard Factory is free. And for those of you who don't know Nearpod or Pear Deck, I guess I should real quick tell you that too. Nearpod and Pear Deck are both kind of like PowerPoint and slides on steroids. They allow you to push out your slide deck or your PowerPoint to your students, and your students have interactive ways they can respond. And so it's just amazing. It's a lot of fun. One of the cool things that I like about Pear Deck is Pear Deck has an add-on app and slide deck and slides, Google Slides. where you can take any of your Google Slides that you prepared, and you just click on that add-on, and it will add them to Pear Deck, and you can go with it. So that's something definitely worth looking into. It's just really fun. But we're going to focus on just one part of Pear Deck, and it is Flashcard Factory. And who doesn't love a good flashcard? Who doesn't love a good digital flashcard? That's me. If it's digital, I love it. If it's a digital flashcard, I love it even more because then I don't have to keep up with it because it's all online and I don't have to find the boxes to put it in. And then I end up throwing them all away I'll make all these flashcards and then I just give them to kids or I throw them away just because I don't have places to store them because I always say I'm sort of like a stage 1, stage 2 hoarder. Not a 5, not that bad, but I do hoard a lot. So I try to periodically dispose of things as I can. And so by doing Pear Deck Flashcard Factory, you're not keeping all those things around. So if you're a hoarder like me, it helps out. This is just a little information about what Flashcard Factory is. It basically is working with your students in creating interactive flashcards. And you create the initial flashcards, and then the students will add to it. The website you go to is, I think they're doing something in my building. Okay. The website you go to is peardeck.com. And once you're in Pear Deck, and if you can't find it, just Google Pear Deck and it will pop up. Once you get there, you have to create an account or log in if you already have an account. And I'm going to take you, to the Pear Deck. And once you sign in, then you get this slide right here. And you're going to look at this Pear Deck vocabulary. That's what we're going to work with. And see here, I told you about the Pear Deck for Google Slides. It's right there. So you can go with it. But you're going to start a vocabulary list. And you can do this ahead of time. You can make your list and then have the kids work with it in class the next day or 2 weeks later or a year later, whenever you have it. So you open it up and it's very basic. There is a way to import your existing list. I will tell you, I've not done that yet. So I'm really not 100% how to do it. It looks pretty easy. I am just lazy and I just like to do it all right at the last minute. So this is what is awesome about Pear Deck 2 and the Flashcard Factory, because there's, like I said, I'm lazy. So there's a lot of easy things you can do. You put your word in. We're talking about fractions right now. So I'm going to put the numerator in. Now, normally I could type a whole definition, or I could just ask Webster's Dictionary, what's the definition of numerator? And then I can look at it and I can see here the part of the fraction that is above the line and signifies the number to be divided by the decimal, or the denominator. That's what I like. Boom, I'm done. One card down. I add another card. And I'm going to do denominator, if I can spell it. I'm a horrible speller, I'll just tell you that. And I don't know what is going on next door. I think there's a party. Or they're drilling. I don't know. They're mining for gold. I don't know. And then again, you got your definition. And there is your definition. You just put it on there. Every now and then I come across a word that it either doesn't have the definition I want, or it has... it doesn't have a definition at all. There are some, just kind of teacher words that just don't have definitions in the Webster's Dictionary. Or maybe you have a phrase that you want to use. And so I will, with that one, then you do just type your own vocabulary or your own definition. And it's real simple. Here, I'll just kind of show you. Here, let's see. I'm going to say equivalent fraction. Make sure I click in the right box. I think this is one that I tried to find the other day, and it did not have a definition. So I just have to click in the definition box, and I'm going to write equal fractions. And maybe that's all I want them. So there, I can just add my own definitions. So if you don't like theirs, you've got them right there. That's as simple as it is. You can add as many flashcards as you want. I like to, because there's a game involved with it, I like to keep my flashcards down to like between 5 and 8, just because the Flashcard Factory part of it, if they have 20 flashcards, you're not going to get through all of that in one class period. It takes them a little bit of time. So what I like to do is I just give them 5 to 8 vocabulary words, and we go with it. And maybe we just each day play for a few minutes, or once a week we do it. Once you have your words and you're ready, then all you have to do is click here, Flashcard Factory. And it's going to take them, and it's going to take you to the Flashcard Factory. It will give you a way for your students to log in. Let's see here, it should come up in a second. And so it'll tell them on their devices. Now, you could have 2 kids on one device. You can be on an iPad, you can be on a Chromebook, on a computer, however you want. You could set this up, and maybe you don't have, you have stations. And maybe what you want to do is throughout the day, you send kids back to work on their flashcards. You can leave this open all day and let them work on it that way. But then they just put in their name and their number, the code that they have here. And once you do, then it will populate the students, and it'll put them into 2 shifts. Puts them in a day shift group and a night shift group, and that just kind of teams them up is what it's doing, to say they're kind of going against each other. It's kind of makes it kind of a game right here, because they're competing against each other to see which group can get the most flashcards correct. And it's not necessarily answering correctly. It's what the students are going to do is they're going to illustrate the flashcard, and they're going to use it in a sentence. And so they're trying to do as many as they can, and then you check them, and whichever group got the most correct, then that would be the winner. Nothing really happens. I don't usually have anything happen from it. It just, I guess, gives them bragging rights to go with. But within their groups, their day shift group or their night shift group, they're assigned a partner. So they're going to want to be able to move around. And with their partner, they're going to, one of them will draw, and the other one will write a sentence. And then for the next flashcard, it flips. Whoever drew will write a sentence, and the other one will now draw. Okay. So I was just looking to see. So that's, they just go back and forth, and they answer as many flashcards until you cut them off. So they may get through all of the flashcards, or they may only get through 3 of the flashcards. Then you get, and because it's hard because I don't have people in my room, I'll just show you some pictures of what happened. From then, what happens is, and you know what? I'm going to open it. Let me see here. Let me see if I can make it a little bit bigger. Hopefully you can see. While the kids are working, this is the screen you have up on the computer, and it's like a little conveyor belt that's at the bottom. And as a group finishes their flashcard, then it drops down on the conveyor belt, and over on the this side right over here, there's like a little truck that it goes into. And so you see the words, and you get to see as they pop in and who did them. Not the students that did them, but if it was day shift or if it was a night shift. But they all have the words that they have to do. And this is what their card looks like. See here, for equivalent fractions, they put right here on one side, they drew 2 equivalent fractions. They didn't have to draw a picture, but that was their representation of equivalent fractions. And then right here, they gave they explained what it is, or they used it in a sentence. It's kind of however you want it to be. They see, when they're working, the kids see the word and they see the definition. So it's there to remind them what the word is. They then have to take their knowledge that they've learned from that word and apply it. So it allows them to do that. Then once everybody's done, you go through them all, and each card pops up on the screen. And so you can do this privately, or you can all do it together as a group. And you can sit and you can say, okay, let's talk about this flashcard. Does their picture represent an equivalent fraction? Well, yes, it does. Does their sentence represent an equivalent fraction? You go, no. And so talk about what's wrong with it. And so they can get a feel for it. Then when it's done, it creates this set. It still has all the flashcards you created, whether you had flashcard, like here, if you look in the upper corner here, 5 of 8 have cards that go with them. I still have all of my flashcards for my students. And then what you're going to do is you're going to leave the factory, but what's even better is export it to Quizlet. And if you've not seen Quizlet, Quizlet is a flashcard program and it's awesome. My daughter uses it. She's a theater student, and she puts her lines. On one side, she puts the line before hers, and on the other side, she puts her line. And that's how she quizzes herself on her lines. Students can have accounts. They can create their own flashcard sets. You can create flashcard sets that you share with them. They join your class so they can practice at home with your flashcards. But when you export it to Quizlet, then you get to play what is called Quizlet Live, which is here. And here, this shows that it's exporting to Quizlet, and then it says you've published it. Then once you've published it, you can share them in your Google Classroom if you have a Google Classroom for the kids, and it gives them the information they need. But then, like I said, it also takes them to Quizlet, which would pop up like this, and this is a different set of flashcards. And right over here at the very end of the row, Quizlet Live. This is one of my fun games. My kids beg to play Quizlet Live. When we finish a round of Quizlet Live, the immediate response is, do it again, do it again, do it again, because they enjoy the competition and the fun with it so much. And they actually are learning these words and they're becoming familiar with these words. They get to a point where they know those words. And then you ask them later, well, what is an equivalent fraction? They're like, what's an equal fraction? I remember it from a Quizlet Live game. From here, they're in your Quizlet. So you can click on that Quizlet Live game. Oops. And from there, the kids, again, it will give them a sign-in and a code for them to enter. And through Quizlet Live, they will sign up. And then once they're all in the room, then it puts them on teams. You can assign their team, or the computer assigns their team. And I have it, I like to mess with them, but I put it on here, and then they'll go, oh, we're Tigers, and I'll hit shuffle. And it shuffles all the teams, mix them all up. And they're like, and I'll just keep hitting shuffle, kind of like a roulette wheel or just a lottery, just a little wheel to see. And it's kind of like, where's it going to land and what the teams are. When you set up your Quizlet Live game, you have two different ways of showing it to them. One of them is where you have the word shows up and the kids have to find the definition, or you can have the definition pop up and the kids have to find the words. One of them is part of paid Quizlet and the other one is part of free Quizlet. I can't remember which is which, but the free Quizlet works. You also, if you watch for a sale, you can usually get like a year subscription to Quizlet for, under $30 for a whole year. So they have great sales, especially around Teacher Appreciation Time. They've got some good sales always going on where they do that. So once they have their teams, it's important for them. They have to get in their teams. So all the Tigers need to be together, because what's going to happen is their screens are going to pop up and they're all three going to have the same word. They'll all have equivalent fractions at the top. And they'll all have 3 or 4 answer choices, depending on how many words you have. But no one has the same answer choice. So here I've got Madison. Madison will have 3 different answer choices than Tony has. And Tony has 3 different answer choices than Sixano has. So they all 3 have different answer choices. And they take all the answers and they put them between their screens, and the kids have to answer the questions. It will put them into usually between 3 and 4, maybe 5. I don't think I've had more than 5 in a group. And but then they go and they have to be able to identify. I have the rule is no one else can touch anyone else's computer. That's just a general rule in my class. So when they're playing, they have to stop and they have to look through their answer choices first and know the definition. So they're like, nope, I don't have it. So then they look over at their partners and see who has it, and they have to help their partner find it. They can't click on it for their partner. And then if you look right over here, this black screen with the lines on it, that's the competition. And as they're answering questions, this is up showing up on your screen if you want it. And as they're answering questions, they're advancing. But the second they miss one, they drop back down to zero, and all the words pop back up with definitions pop back up again. So sometimes, especially when it's a fresh set of flashcards, they have to see these. They do these words over and over again before somebody finally wins the round. And if you've done through Flashcard Factory, then up on the screen they should also be able to click on their flashcard that was created and see the picture and the sentence. So it helps them out. So it's taking that flashcard and making it digital, but making them want to learn. And I promise they'll sit there the last word is always real easy because the last word is going to be the last definition that's left. They don't give them extra definitions where there's a one that's a throwaway or I can't think of the word right now, but they don't give them that. It always is the exact same definition. So the last one always is. So they'll sit there and it's really funny to watch. Mine are fourth graders, and they'll hit and they immediately all turn to look at the screen to watch their little number go up. And so they want to. And so I have to keep telling them, no, you've got to keep going. You can't waste time watching that because it's a little bit of a delay. And so another team may all of a sudden swoop in and win. And so they get very competitive. And I do a play-by-play, announcer. I'm like, oh, the Bears have taken the lead with 2. Oh, the Owls. Oh no, they just dropped back down to 0. And just do that so it builds that tension and that excitement. And then when it's done, it pops up the animal that won with the list of the names. And they will immediately say, do it again, do it again, do it again. Because they've just had so much fun playing it. It's pretty simple. Like I said, it's pretty basic, self-explanatory. I'll take you back over here to Flashcard Factory. And the code, in case they get knocked out, it always is up here. And let me see, I need to close this real fast. You can shuffle your teams. So if you get your teams and you don't like them, you can shuffle them. I'd forgotten about that one. And then you just click Let's Play when you're ready to play. So, and I don't know that there are any questions. Chris hasn't texted me any. So I think we're good on questions. I know it was short, sweet, to the point. Like I said, it's a pretty basic one, but you get a lot of bang for your buck. The free, and it's fun and it's engaging, and the kids really are motivated by it. So, and that's next on my list is to learn how to import. To me, this right here is so easy that it's not really worth. Here, I was say, I think there is a video. I'm not going to worry about the video because it's adults. I thought that was the one. So, but that's a Pear Deck Flashcard Factory. And I hope you go out and try it and have a good time, and hope your kids love it as much as mine do. Like I said, I've been doing this Flashcard Factory for a year and a half. I've been doing Quizlet Live for about 2.5 years. And it's always one that the kids, if you're not a person that likes a noisy classroom, then these 2 activities probably won't be for you because they do get noisy and you have to just kind of listen to see, is it conversation about what's going on? Are they being goofy? But very rarely do I have them off task because they're having so much fun doing it and putting it together. So I guess that's all I have. And we'll just we'll hang on a second in case anybody else has any questions. And have a good day and enjoy the rest of your week. It's Wednesday, and so the week's almost over. So thank you for watching.